What was the most difficult part of being a mother at that age?
Well, of course, first I didn't want to be a mother. I mean, I was 16 years old. I was just like in my teenage stage. But I mean, I was always feeling really alone, actually. Well, I didn't have like anyone. I was just with my dad. That I'm going to explain you some details next in the interview. But I always feel very alone, and I mean, in that time when I when I knew that I was pregnant, my mom was also cancer. They diagnosed cancer to her. So for me, it was like another shocked notice. And well, I was like just feeling like really out of control because I didn't know what to do. I mean, they told me that I was pregnant, and I was just like don't having like the tools to handle that situation alone. And well, I thought that when they told me that okay, you're pregnant, I thought that, well, as I said, at first I was really shocked. But then I thought, like, okay, maybe that girl can be like the solution of all my problems. Because, I mean, if I was feeling really alone, maybe I just, with that little girl, maybe I just feel like I have like a really little company, but maybe I was not like alone at all, you know. So I was like then realizing and analyzing the situation, and I was like really happy about that notice.
Why did you decide to go with your father when they got divorced?
Okay, this is a question that I told you that I will answer like later. um I decide first of all of going with my dad, because I mean he has been always like a kind of person, the kind of person that let you do like everything you want. So I thought like, okay, I have 15 years old, I can do like whatever I want. My dad gave me everything. I mean, he always if I don't know, if I told him like, hey, I need some money, he was like, okay, go ahead. And if I ask my mom is like, no, why do you want like this money? It's a lot of money. And all the typical stuff that the dads that parents told you when you ask for money. But my dad, no, he was like such a relaxed person. And I thought that okay, I can be with him. Maybe it's better that with my mom. And actually, well, I'm going to I'm going to answer that question next later in the interview. But as I thought that it was cool because he always being like very kind with me, and I thought like okay, I can be like free, literally free. So that's one of the reasons that I that I choose my dad when they got divorced.
Do you think that was a good decision?
No, actually not. It was not a good decision. I mean, I was like I said, I was just 15 years old when this whole situation of my parents got divorced and all this stuff. My I was 15 years old, so I didn't know like literally what was happening with my life at that age. So well, like I said, my dad was like a very, very kind person with me, and he let me do like whatever I want and all that stuff. So, actually, I was like, if I was like the rebel, the typical rebel teenager, when I moved with my dad, I was more. I became more and more, I was literally losing my control. Um, I went out like 3 a.m. at the morning. I was always drinking. I was always smoking. At my age, I mean, I was 15 years old. I repeat, 15 years old, and I was like literally living the life that 18-year old or 20 years old person do. I mean, so I was losing my control really, and my dad didn't find out like anything. My mom didn't knew like anything
You
about
tell
me.
your worst experiences when you were this rebel teenager.
Actually, I have a lot. Some of them are very really scary. Some of them are like really crazy. But there's one that I really literally just marked my life. And it's that one day I went out of my house like it was like 5 a.m. No, like 3 a.m. And I was going with a party with my friends. So my friend told me like, hey, come to my house. We're going to have a party, and I was like, okay. So I went out of my house, and it was like I said, it was 3 a.m. And I took a taxi, and that taxi he was like really at the first moment that I go with him. He told me like, okay, I will arrive to your destiny and all that stuff, you know. And I was like, okay. And then he started to talk to me like very weird, and I was like, I mean, I was 15 years old, okay, 15 years old. I didn't knew like anything about life. So he started to talk to me, and I was like, okay. And I started to talk to him, and we started a conversation, a really nice conversation. And then I was like really into the conversation. That then I realized that I just turned my head and see that where we were going, and I was just literally in the top of a hill with no one at 3 a.m., like in the forest alone. And the taxi just started to tell me like, hey, and he was so weird. I mean, I don't want to tell details because it was like a really shock um, experience for me. And well, in conclusion, that taxi tried to rape me. So as I said, I was a girl like losing my control, and I just started to scream, and I don't know how I went out of that taxi, and thanks God anything happened, but it was like a really shocked moment for me because he started to touch me and all that stuff. I don't want to go into details, but it was kind of shock for me. So that is my worst experience.
Your parents support you when they found out?
Yes, well, my mom, she always support me. I mean, all my pregnancy stage, he was just with me. Because when I got noticed that I was pregnant, I decided to go with my mom because I was like, okay, if I stay with my dad, he will be angry with me, and I will not be like responsible. I wouldn't be like a very responsible person. So I decided to go with my mom. So my mom always support me, but my dad actually not, because he was like, when he got the notice, he was like a really disappointing about me, and of course about him also, because he didn't he didn't find out when I was in his house. So no, my dad no, my mom yes.
What about the dad of your daughter? Did he support you as well?
That's another long story, but I'm going just to the point. No, well, first he was always with me. He always supported me, and I thought like, okay, maybe we will begin a family. We will form a family. We'll be the happy ever after family, but not. When the baby born, he went with my one of my best friends. It was hard for me because I mean I was just like in a situation, a really hard situation, and he went and with my friends. So yeah, it was kind of it was kind of sad for me. But no, only in the pregnancy stage he
Why
supported
did
me.
you decide to start being an
That's
actress?
a really good question. I decided to start to being an actress because for me it was like like the way of expressing myself, of maybe expressing the all the things that happened in my life, because I started to being an actress when I was like 22 years old, because I mean I think like okay, I have to work to give food to my little girl. And I decided to be an actress because I thought okay, maybe I can express my feelings, I can express all the bad times that I passed in my in my life. In So that's the main, that's a principal idea that come to my head. So that's why I want to be an actress. I started to be an actress.
Does you and your daughter have a good relationship?
Of course, we have a really really good relationship. Actually, we always play. We do some exercise together. We sometimes she helps me with my when I'm doing like I don't know like a movie or a TV series from Netflix, because I have a Netflix series that is named Rosario Tijeras. It's one of my very famous series. So she and I really really love each other, and we have a very very good relationship. And she is like the perfect daughter for me. She's intelligent, she's beautiful. I love her.
I heard that you love doing exercise, right?
Yes, as I said, me and my daughter always do exercise together, and that for me is like another way of expressing myself, or of liberating all the stuff that I pass through, like every day, like a normal person. Sometimes we have bad times, sometimes we have good times, and doing exercise for me is like a therapy. So yes, and motivating other people for me is great. That's why I love doing exercise.
Are you happy with all the goals that you have reached?
Yes, I mean, like I said, with my one of my favorite goal that I think that it was incredible was making a Netflix series. And yes, of course, I'm really happy of being this kind of woman like right
Do
now.
you like the kind of woman that you've become?
Yes, actually, I love the kind of woman that I become. Like I just said, I mean, I really admire myself in this moment. Sometimes I look back and I see all the bad moments that I passed in my childhood. So yes, of course, I'm really really happy of being this kind of woman right now. And yes, I don't have any words. I mean, having a 16 years old, now he's 16 years old, my daughter, it's like amazing. I just love my dad. I love my family. My mom is always with me too. So yes, I love my life right now. And yes, I'm really happy.